Recording is on.
So welcome everyone to the 34th week. This is the Eternity Developers Public Updates call. So a big public stand-up of many people that are currently developing the Eternity ecosystem and software. There are lots of exciting things going on in the ecosystem, especially the Eternity Universe conference in September in Prague, 20 and 21st, but also an approaching new hard upgrade Lima with several features like naming system and bidding, but also the new Fate virtual machine that brings lots of improvements, as well as there will be a new community website where we that will provide links and resources to tools for people that are developing here in the Eternity ecosystem. And also I'm aware of a couple of applications that are currently getting developed, and some people are also here in this call that will and can give an update about them. As also some people are missing, I often get updates in private chat messages and dev chat and in different places in the forum. So I will just quickly make one update from Peter and his colleague. They have been working on implementing Eternity into a crypto ATM called General Bytes. They used a community built SDK, the Java SDK, and they have managed that everything works now and is in review by the General Bytes people. So if everything goes well, Monday or Tuesday, we can, maybe everybody in the world can already do real life tests on General Bytes ATMs. I think this is a very interesting news. And yeah, the code is of course open source and on GitHub, and everybody can take a look at it. And yeah, so we will hear more here. So this was what I received directly, and now I will just start to go through the people here in the call. And I would like to start with Sergey, who overlooks and coordinates the protocol core development. So Sergey, please give us an update about the last 5 days, basically.
So, hi everyone. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes.
Perfect. So, yeah, I mean, we're approaching the hard fork time. So now we are working like with a lot of effort to bring all the features on time to the deadline. I mean, right now we are mostly like 80% of the time we are spending on finalizing the Fate. So our plan is to have our new virtual machine ready for the Lima release. So we are quite confident that this will be done. Also, we've identified few issues with naming services. This is another big feature which we plan to release with Lima hard fork, where there are still some open issues in the bidding. So basically setting the fair price for a name. And yeah, we also have developers working on them, resolving them. So hopefully everything will be on track, but basically this is what we are currently doing. So yesterday we had a release of the first release candidate for Lima. So it already includes the majority of the consensus breaking changes that we want to have in Lima, but not everything yet. So that's why it's also tagged as release. So please use it only for testing and playing, but not for production. So this is it.
Cool, thanks a lot. I have also spectated in the different chat groups that the first versions of Fate has been launched, or merged, however you call it. So very exciting stuff is happening here. Looking forward to see this in the wild. So there are also other people from the core protocol team which are here in this call. I think I saw Juraj, maybe Carol is here. If you want to add something about your week, then please, you're welcome to do so. I think it's just interesting to hear people and what challenges you face and what you're currently working on. So Juraj, you want to say a few sentences?
Yes, I can say something. So I've been working on minor signal consensus, and to give you an idea what it is, so basically all the hard forks have been scheduled hard forks so far. And well, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Okay, because it says I have some connectivity issues. So, okay, so all the hard forks have been scheduled hard forks so far, and after Lima, there will be only community hard forks. And it means that we develop a new version of consensus, and we let the miners decide if they support it or not. And basically, miners will include some kind of information in the blocks. And based on this information, we can see whether they support it or they don't support it. So regarding the design of the implementation, I think it's complete, and I have developed a mechanism for fork signaling computation, and I consider this part to be done. Also, right now I'm refactoring different components so they support the fork signaling, but this is mostly work in progress. And well, fork signaling is not going to be part of the next release. I think we will have to wait a bit for this feature, because it also depends on some PRs in state channels that I need to wait to be merged. And yeah, so that's basically it.
Thank you very much, and also yeah, for this explanation. You mentioned state channels. Usually Tino joins this call and gives an update, or Ulf or Dimitar, but I don't see them here now. I know that Tino is traveling, so I can tell that there is a forum post just released yesterday with all the updates and state channels. So who is interested here can go in the forum. This is a longer post, so I can just skip through it quickly. There have been backchannel updates when state channel VS client disconnects. The Cache TX environment for better state channel FSM performance. They have worked on the WebSocket API for and fixed some stuff there for example generation. They now support snapshot solo in the state channel API, and they have worked on the state channel UAT test suite. And generally, of course, lots of refactoring. What's nice and what I really like on this forum update is that also all the PRs and tasks got linked to in the protocol and into the implementation. So if somebody's really interested and want to follow the progress, it's a very good spot to look at and jump in. Next person here, Pivo, I will skip you now, even though it would fit very well with your governance app, but I also see Gregos and your cameras on, so I I want to have a short update from your side as you're also contributing here.
Okay, can you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Okay, so I was working mostly on the state channels, so I made a lot of performance improvements to the test suites, and additionally, right now I'm working on improving some more tests, improving some tests. I made one big change. I'm trying to get one big change merge regarding state channels. So currently, when you're creating a state channel, you need to save the off-chain state somewhere. We are currently doing this in RAM, but in some cases the FSM or the channel might crash. So you're saving it in a database, and currently the state is unprotected there. So if someone would use a publicly available node to create a channel and the channel crashes, and a malicious person would get control of the database, they could extract the off-chain state. So I implemented an encryption scheme there, so the persisted state is encrypted. So even if an adversary will be able to get a will be able to get a copy of a hard drive on which the node is running, then they won't be able to extract the off-change state. So this will be a nice increase in privacy. So hopefully this will be merged next week. After that, I will mostly focus on creating some benchmarks for the suite, because currently I was trying to look into the performance of syncing and block insertion, and I noticed that this is the performance is pretty slow, but I'm not sure whether this is because I'm using a hard drive instead of an SSD, and I would like to have a standardized benchmark suite, so any person can run and test their configuration, because I've got an SSD, but I've tried to sync on an HDD, but I'm also using a ZFS a lot. So then I've got the question whether using SSD tiered storage will improve the performance or degrade it. So I've also saw some unnecessary abstraction levels in database lookups, and I would like to look up. I would like to have some standardized benchmarks so I can check whether removing them, the unnecessary abstraction level, will improve performance of degraded. So yeah.
Great, really great. Thanks for this update. And maybe one thing that's technically so exciting in blockchains that you always think about attack vectors and what people could do with it. And I think it makes the whole technology super exciting. And thank you for this contribution and also for this update. Very interesting. So next one here, as we know and heard that state channels are still in heavy development, or let's call it, we are upgrading them on a quite fast pace. Still at the same moment, of course, people are using the APIs and building applications actually around it. And we have some one person here in the call, which is David, based in Buenos Aires, I think, which works on a state channel payments POS app that hopefully will run on the Eternity universe. So David, give us some little updates about your past days.
Yeah, I mean, we with Hernan, we were updating our deploy for our node and payment hub for the application to be accessible by HTTPS and to avoid mixed content problems with the base app and course policy and that. And we updated the application too to work with that. We found some little issues with the application on Android, which was like a restricted policy on which URLs were accessible, and I think that it should be working like today. That was updated by the team, and also, we also included our user registration for both cases, not on in the payment application. Like for the merchants, we already have that, but we included that for the users to make it easier to identify the purchase orders in the history of the application. And we implemented also the history of purchase in both applications and in the server. We implemented channel deposit and withdraw functions for the channels open by the application. We actually completed the whole flow of the application from an iOS device, which we haven't done. We have all the tests, but we haven't completed with the application itself running directly through internet. Although we have some issues with the camera still. Okay, we implemented in the server some payment codes which allow us to work around the issues with the camera, which is still not working and is one of our major concerns. But I I know Hernan and people from the base app team is working actively on that, and I think that it should be fixed really soon because they are really working on it. We have also a display for the funds received for any by any merchant, but uh, those who are available yet in the payment hub, so the merchants can know how much they have raised up to the moment. We have improved the style of each of the pages of the application, and we have done some tools to test this application and the node itself, because we made a tool to create massive uh, a massive set of accounts in the network, like public and private keys, and to move funds from miners and distribute among they. And we actually modified the customer script to run multiple accounts at the same time. So we tested it with about with not all, with exactly 500 simultaneous connections, which were launched 200 milliseconds apart each one, um, and the server were working pretty well, but we cannot reduce
Glad to
that
hear.
delay. When we do that, we have some issues with with the node, but at the SDK level, like the main endpoint for the from the node and the SDK calls, which is API, is getting a connection reset errors on connection. So maybe we have to do some fine tuning in the HTTP settings. Or we made some other massive tools like check balance from 500 addresses, and we perform the configuration to get able to run those tests with the links that Dimitar and some others provided us to let us configure how much state channels and WebSockets was expected to have, and also I touched the configuration for HTTP to get better results. The script is available. It can be get improved yet, but there is it to get use of it.
It's really it's really nice to hear, and obviously like it's you do lots of progress, and you run in lots of issues. It would be really nice if you could just also maybe after this call also spend some time in making a public forum update, share some of the numbers, share the screenshots. I think it's interesting for people to see, and of course, if possible, a version that we can try, or that everybody here can try, because then of course we will find more bugs and issues. This is normal, and but it looks like you really dig deep into it and you have it under control. And I also like to hear that there are different moving pieces that help you, like the base wallet team or the JavaScript team for that currently works in the JavaScript SDK. I will just jump to the next person here, if this is okay for you, David, as we still have quite some people in the call and we want to go through all of them. And as you have managed, mentioned some of these essential parts, like the SDK that you're working with, I would go to Andrea, who is supervising this kind of the team and the development. So Andrea, please give us also a short update about the different things that happened this week.
Yes, so hello. We have for the SDKs, we have that this week we had a release for Python and JavaScript SDK. Now with support for generalized account and also some bug fixes, especially for the JavaScript one that were found. At this point, all the SDKs are supporting the state channels. So I'm talking now for the Go, Python, and JavaScript one.
Cool.
We will start now working almost exclusively in supporting the next upcoming release, that is the Lima version number 5.0. There was the ERC one released yesterday, and we hope to be able to have the SDK working with it by the beginning of next week. We also have an update for the middleware. In particular, there's some under the hood changes. In particular, there is the work has been done is related to a better fork detection mechanism. Also, for the middleware, we are going to start working to support the Lima release starting from next week. That's everything from my side for now.
Thank you very much, Andrea. I also have seen you have been involved in preparing a little bit for the hackathon, also happening in September in Prague during the weekend. I think it's the 14th and 15th. And yeah, we are always, or like you pointed it out very well in some of the chats, that it's important to know which SDK version, which node version, which compiler version you use, so everything runs stable and doesn't break. And I think Pivo can also sing a song about this, having the Graffiti app live, which is extremely fun to use right now in the testnet, which is going to get into mainnet, hopefully with slight changes on APIs that need to be open on the mainnet. Pivo, maybe you can say a few words to this, and also, of course, give us an update about the governance app that will kind of be the counterpart also for future hard forks, for example, next to the hard fork signaling that we have heard from Uri today. So Pivo, please give us your update.
Hi, so can you hear me well?
Yes, perfectly.
From the Drone Graffiti app, or from Graffiti app, what we did this week is to update the texts and descriptions a little bit to make the bidding process more clear. And also, as you previously mentioned, we were debugging a lot with SDK and base app, as there were some issues and a small bug in the SDK that prevented us to be able to use the latest version together with it, and some small problem with the testnet that we all figured out. And for Ars Technica, next week we will provide a version of the Graffiti app that is also deployed on mainnet, and with the nodes that will be able to support this. That's from the Graffiti side. From governance side, we started implementing a nice design for the governance app last week and continued this week. Also, we did some more improvements in thinking about the delegation process, where we had a small issue in our thinking previously, and that we're going to fix the upcoming week. That's from these both apps. And I also give an update about the Alexi SDK,
yes,
where as we had the team do a small hackathon 2 weeks ago, and they found some things that are not perfect yet with the transaction listener, as it was also quite a new thing back then. So they continued work on this to listen for specific contract events in the noise protocol to make it accessible to the developers in a very easy way. And Also, work was done on better state channel support to build off-chain trees and verify off-chain trees in, for example, a false progress transaction within the state channel. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, people, for giving this update about all those three things at one time. So representing a lot of people working on a lot of stuff. Now I'm moving forward to Martin, who also works on maybe one of the most important things happening next to the hard fork, which is the solution on how tokens that will freeze on the Ethereum mainnet on September 2nd can still be accessed with an Ethereum private key on Eternity Lima mainnet. So Martin, I think now we have all the signatures and easy recover and everything we needed in the RC1 release, and you have maybe been already able to test things here. So please give us an update and hopefully it's good.
Yeah, hey guys. So yeah, as Emin mentioned, we are working on the token migration thingy. We have a lot of progress there. We have built almost the smart contract. We have tested the Merkle tree verification, and it's worked flawlessly. Since about an hour, the compiler RC release candidate version is available. So yeah, we have started to implement the easy recover functionality in the smart contract, and we'll be able to test it. So yeah, next week will be very interesting. We will finish in the smart contracts there, and we will be able to start the stress test on the whole token migration process. So yeah, next week will be very interesting.
Do you also already can you already share like UI UX of the whole process in the forum or something like that, or is this still all on console?
Sorry?
Can you also share the user interface, so the interface to this migration already, or is this still in basically design stage?
The client-side application is almost done. We will make some new changes, but we have reused the previous one, so we believe that it will be easier for the community and the users, that they won't have to use some new design. They're probably used to the older one. So yeah,
great to hear.
Nothing's changed. We have tested also that the ledger is working, the area wallet also, so everything will be as easy as possible for the users. And also something regarding the Forge, I wanted to share. So since today, Forge is now renamed to AE project. It's available in NPM. A forum post will be posted in a minute. Also, I will post everything on Twitter, so the community and all of the members know that. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Yeah, so all of the community members and Forge users should know that all of the new updates will be in for AE project. Forge will still be available, so the migration isn't urgent, but yeah, all of the new things will be posted in AE project for now. So this is the updates from our side.
Cool. Thank you very much, Martin. Then I'm jumping to the next one. I must say, because right now there is also the Berlin Blockchain Week, and some of our community members are running around there. This includes, for example, Milen, who is usually here and working on the browser wallet, or Stoyan, who is overlooking and coordinating the base wallet application. So we will not have updates from these people today here in the call, but we will for sure read about their updates in the forum. But I still see Emil here, who also has spent, I think, many days on the Berlin Blockchain Week, and maybe you can also share some infos and interesting stuff from there. And of course, most importantly, what has been moved in the expansion section and the other areas you touched here in the Eternity universe.
Hey. Yeah, I'll start with the expansions because we also had the chance here during Blockchain Week to meet some people who are working on that in person, like, for example, the people from AirGap. And so there's one upcoming expansion still about the app metadata. And so the goal is here to create a standard that hopefully even other decentralized apps or blockchain systems can adopt, so that is basically serving eternity, but also can serve a greater good. And there are a few little technicalities to be defined, and then this, I think, in a pretty good state. Regarding, there was a bigger discussion here pointed out by the base app team about X2 and X7. And just so X2 is a communication protocol between decentralized apps and wallets. If you have like a bidirectional communication layer, like it could be WebSockets, post messages, and everything like this. And X7 tries to do very similar things, but if you're very limited on size and bandwidth, and maybe the communication is just one way. For example, if you communicate via QR codes or other things. So, but we saw that also the use case of one and the other are quite different. They might be a chance to merge some of these stuff together so that we have a more current ecosystem, and it's easier for developers to get into it. So that was about the existing expansions, and then there are plans for some new expansion that allows signing also across devices, and maybe also do some new stuff with the naming system, depending on what features will come in there. So we have some more plans there. Yeah, that's it from my side.
Thank you very much for this update. And I think we are also already through here. I mean, I see some more fellow jitzers, but I don't know what face is hiding behind those tiles here. So if you want to speak, this is your chance. Unmute yourself. If not, I would close this meeting for today. And yeah, thank you everyone for participating. Have a great weekend, and please don't forget to make a bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks, short post in the forum. That would be really nice, so people can also read asynchronously and don't have to watch this whole thing here, or it can also click on links and follow up on stuff. As I said, not everyone was here today, but this is normal, and this will get more normal when we grow. There's a huge list of other things that are currently getting developed. And yeah, thank you everyone for participating, and see you next week on Friday.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye, thank you.
Bye-bye, thank you.
Bye, guys.
Ciao.